Welcome to Nollywood Film Club podcast. My name is Mr. C, and I am sad. I am sad because this episode is sad. This episode, I can tell you, is the worst episode of Nollywood Film Club we have ever had. Bar none. Easiest. What makes a bad Nollywood Film Club podcast or space as it was when we were recording? I tell you what it is. It's film that is this tedious to go through in the first place. And also, a little bit, it depends on just what to say. And to be honest, if there's a few of us that only turn up, they just had all the concoction of the worst space to host from an Iroko critic point of view. And so that energy has been carried on in the presenting. I will give you some context that this is they call it the quote unquote Badamasi arc complete, where, as you guys will have noticed, 2 episodes ago, episode 14, when we discussed Juju stories. Apparently, people voted to discuss Aki and Pawpaw. Now, the ballots were being counted because it was inflated. So I needed to make sure it was, it was right. So I did Juju stories instead. A decision, like 6 months later or so, I do not regret. I would do it again and again. Given what this film was, I'm happy that it got kicked down the road. Yes. So I don't know whether people were a bit discouraged in joining or whatever. Not that that matters. If it was a film that was that would have been interesting to discuss, it would have been fine. But God, the nothingness of this film, the lack of an attempt, it felt like, yeah, this is the space equivalent of chewing glass. Anyway, I do make something of what I think is an interesting, what I thought was an interesting similarity. I don't think it necessarily falls in the good. I think it kind of falls in the good, and then I tear it apart in the bad. Whatever. I can't remember. I'm not even going to listen to this in retrospect. But I do hope you enjoy us in Nollywood Film Club discussing Aki Pawpaw. Any smart thing, any encouragement I can get, I can to not speak about this film for any longer than it deserves, I will take it. So, I can't pop. There's some things I do have to say though, which might surprise some people, but let's see how this goes. All right, Elizabeth, you're always first. I keep on telling you, you know how it is. So, tell us all the things you enjoyed about Aki and Pawpaw.
See, I was just about to tag Dika Notas to come and explain their movie.
Oh God.
So, first thing I liked about this movie, which is probably the only thing actually, is that the picture quality is better than the old one. Oton. In fact, maybe I should also add that. See, as I was watching this thing, maybe there's one part that I liked. I think that there was this scene where Popo went in with Panchak. Abi, what's his name? Yeah, so I thought I liked the choice of directing shots. You know, when they I see, look at me, I'm looking for the slightest thing. Honestly, that was the only thing that I thought. I was like, oh, not bad. Because every other thing, I don't know, man. So, congratulations to the pictures.
Congratulations to the pictures.
they made some improvements that can be said. Um, Cynthia, I imagine will be coming up in a bit. All right, Cynthia, when you're up here, please tell us all the things you enjoyed about Nollywood. Um, about Aki and Pawpaw. um, Cynthia has dropped back. Are we already having network issues?
Okay, can I say something else?
Is it,
Which is totally
is it another good thing?
no, which is totally unrelated,
Okay,
but maybe good too.
okay.
So the when I was watching it, the Chioma Okafor babe, the one of the leads,
Mm.
I thought that I can't remember seeing her in a lot of movies, but I just thought that she doesn't look bad, and I thought that she looked like what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. Oh my god, this baby in Yahoo Plus. Ugh,
Oh,
my memory fails me though.
I haven't seen
But that was all.
a Yo Plus, but yeah, no. I think I have to agree with that. She's a very pretty person. She's done some Iroko movies or something.
Yeah, maybe that's why I saw her.
Yeah,
I was like, where have I seen this girl? That's all I want to say. Cynthia,
the
you
floor,
have the floor.
the floor is yours, Cynthia.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I started watching this movie on Thursday and finished on Saturday, mostly because of work. Mostly because of work. So I just wrote what I could remember. So for likes, the first 1 hour of this movie was a bit bearable for me. Like I know I watched the first 1 hour complete on Thursday. Then I know when Amechi Monagu said Oye, because I mean, it's not like I'm not going to hear anybody pronounce Oye in this country. When he said Oye, when Aki and Papa were having their vision, I actually smiled like, Oye, you don't hear that often. Or I won't hear that. I'm not going to hear that in this country. So yeah, that Niger Delta pronunciation of Oye was actually pleasing to hear. Then yeah, I liked so the first time I saw Choma Okafor, Samantha and Stan Nze at Mama Nkuruba when they were gisting, and I mean the time she took the first video of Aki and Popo, I just like their vibes. Like I like their friendship vibes. I was like, okay, I'm going to like these two people throughout this movie. I don't know. I got disappointed, but the first time we saw them at that in Kuruba when they were gisting and she was complaining about Panshak and all this stuff, I just like the vibe. Then shockingly, when I watched the first 1 hour that was quite bearable, I actually liked Toy Abraham. So I don't know, maybe it's because she was not shouting, but I liked her, and for some reason she is the only actor actress that I liked for most parts of this movie. Then also because I mean I've been doing plenty of work, and when Francis Sule came and he did his comic relief of the whole money scam, I actually laughed. Okay, in fact, I was impressed because when he started saying to compare and to pass and say, I was actually waiting for him to make mistake in the French he was speaking. Mm-mm. I was going to be a bad Pele. I was waiting for him to make mistake. Yes, he was using English and French when he was like, "Oh, I'm going to meet my client and all this stuff." But for most part of the French words he used, he actually got the pronunciation. I was impressed, and I also laughed because it made it funny. MC Lively was just like was just shouting, but Francis Sule made that French money scam thing funny and it was very boom. Then finally. When Aki and Papa went to the village for the first time. When they came down from the bus and they played that Larry Gaga Egedege song, the song with Flavor Fino and Teresa. I think that's all the people in the song. When they played that song, I was happy. I almost stood up to dance. Okay, so this is because I like the song. I don't know if it fits perfectly with them coming down from the car, but hearing that song was pleasing also because I like the song. So yeah, that's what I can remember, and that's what I wrote down for my life.
Okay. Yes, we are on target for our shortest
Don't jinx
Nollywood Film Club. I can see you in the audience. This one that you have not come up, and that combined with the insults we got after we announced this film for Film Club this week. I wonder, I wonder, I wonder how this is going to go. I wonder whether you managed to see it. Maybe it was a DNF for you. All right, Mrs. C, tell us the things you liked about Aki and Pawpaw 2021.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that. I liked it when is that song called Levels or Doings? It was Levels. Yeah, I liked it when that song came on. I really like that song. It just gives me good vibes. So that was nice. I think Stan Nze was mostly fine. I think the last time I saw him was Prophetess before this, and that was a bomb. His performance was just not it. So, improvement, better. What else? I think it was nice for Aki and Popo to be back in a film. With them getting more popular recently, let them get some actual flowers. That was nice. What else? Amici Monaco. I like him. It was nice to see him. And it seemed having Amici Monaco as their dad seemed very Aki and Popo. So, yeah.
I think he is their dad.
He is their dad. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like that. So it feels very Aki and Popo, very,
Okay.
In the spirit of things.
Okay.
And yeah, that it happens. So.
All right. Okay. So, this one is a double-edged sword. I'm not going to say I like the intention because I know how we feel about that word, that phrase here, but I can't see what they were going for. I can see what they. Everybody always rephrases it. That's how we get away with it on here. But what they were going for. The reason why I say that is like I guess there was a decision to remake Aki and Popo. I guess they could have chosen a much lazier premise, but the actual premise they chose to do was actually quite ambitious and interesting. I would even add because the premise is essentially the premise is so all the sort of memes that have been making the round with Aki and Popo. Well, it's meta, isn't it? Because like all the sort of memes that have been making the rounds with Aki and Popo, like, and how I guess it has blown and stuff, and they haven't really benefited from that. It's supposed to be talking about how corporations could be, or somebody is sort of stealing from them or swindling them for their talent, and you see it from because even for a while I was thinking after I watched it the first time, I was thinking why the black money this thing, but it's just part of the whole get swindling them I guess theme, swindling Aki and Papa. So these guys get swindled for and used for their talents, like so, and they don't get much out of it. And I guess it wanted to tell that story of that, which again, like I said, it's ambitious and it's meta, which can be interesting. So I'm not entering the bad, but it's an interesting choice for Play to be the one doing this. I would think, given yeah, given what currently happens. So it's an interesting choice for Play to be the people behind this story. But regardless,
You see the intention.
I, I like what they were trying to. I like that they were trying to do something of actual substance and not just taking a lazy version, a lazy route. I will also say I did enjoy Tony Abraham. I agree with you, Cynthia. It probably is because like this is her one of her less most one of her more understated performances. Reminds me of kind of like Shola's performance in Akinolak. What did I say?
You said Akinolak.
All right, okay. It's Aki and Pawpaw get into my head. Anikulakbo. Um, where it's not how loud and how animated you are, it's the words she was saying. I remember how she was calmly describing to the people who came to her saying that, like, I have problem. You see this problem. Even this one, I born problem. It's only this one that is okay, and it's even small. It's small things like that. I found endearing, and I never felt she was overly, she overdid it. It was just a like more measured performance from her, and I did enjoy it. It's shame she's not in it, or that village part isn't in it as much. But I have to say, yeah, it wasn't a bad performance from her. What else? So, but like the premise is and I would say, yes, also, I think Choma might actually be someone that could do good things in the future. It's difficult to know because this script is not one to show off your talent with. If I'm going to be honest. So who knows? Let's see. But she's definitely pretty. Um, um, I think that's my side. I think we have Onyeka left. Do you have good things to say?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, you know, there's always good things to say. Um, I have to say there is a scene. What is the scene? The scene where the girl that plays Samantha and Uti. I think after like they were taking pictures with that sort of statue thing, and then they come out, and then she's like that scene. It was actually I actually quite enjoyed like the performance of the two of them, and I feel like in a better movie with a better type of script, they could have they could it could be something. So I enjoy sometimes about moments of brilliant acting in scenes. I don't, but I wouldn't say brilliant, but good performance, entertaining performance in scenes. Um, the actors cannot do much than work on what they were hired to work on. Sometimes it can be. Um, um, I wanted to give praise because I was looking for things to praise. I wanted to give praise for like, oh, it has higher production and the camera is more like, but that's not a praise. That shouldn't be a praise. I mean, it's 20 years from the original movies. Obviously, cameras will get better. So that's not. I can't praise them on that. That one is going to be disingenuous praise. It's more of an insult for me to be praising them on that. Um, I like Frank Duke. He came back, the old actor from those old movies that normally plays in action movies, right? I liked seeing him. I was like very excited seeing him in the first scene. I was just like, oh wow. Was he like cast properly? No. Did he really give no? But I just enjoyed seeing him. I'm just like, oh my god, you need to come back. And that brought me joy. So that's a good thing. Um I kind of like you said, I kind of will give them pointers. Giving pointers is not necessarily praise, but like pointers that they tried. They doing the yeah, like talent corporations using people for talent for their talent and not getting for me. Um, that was nice, but I don't really even think that I should. I think that was just an unfortunate accident of writing. It wasn't purposeful. I mean, but it's there in some ways. Um, what other thing? Oh, yeah, this one. I just forgotten what other thing I liked. I was about to say it, but I've forgotten it. Um, oh snap! Oh yes, Aki Pawpaw. I kind of like, Aki was always supposed to be the more calmer one, and you can see that at least some of these people are like, at least they are some fans of the stories, that kind of using it because they appropriately gave the appropriate character, the appropriate like reserve. Atkins always was a little bit more reserved than Papa. Papa was always so. At least I'm like, at least they know something about it. It's not like Glamour Girls where it's just horrible, but like, so that's a pointer. Um, the cinematographer
Oh,
at many times. Hold up,
nothing. You what?
I am finding good things, okay, and I'm being genuine with my good things I'm finding. I don't want to find. I don't want to say this isn't a good thing. Um, the the makeup was popping, and like the skin was also popping at some times. Like, I mean, I'm just like, wow, it's beautiful. Like, she's beautiful. That was very good in the makeup department and some of the costumes in the costume department, and also I guess cinematographer, just amazing. And those are my likes.
All right. No, thanks, Oyinka. I will say the skins look better than Annie Kulakbo. Fight me if you want. Annie Kulakbo, everybody looks orange, and I will never get off orange until the way it's done in our industry. Anyway, all right. Let's move to the dislikes. All right. Elizabeth, do you want to start us off?
Okay, things that I do not like. So, I'll first say that what I do not like about this movie is the same thing I didn't like about Ghetto, which I really could not complete. Old people acting weird, running around the screen. I really could not stomach it watching Ghetto. I mean, my brain could not make that connection with what I'm saying. Like repeating the same shenanigans that he did a decade or two ago, doing it now. My brain could have looked for another story, but that's also besides the point. Um, that's the first thing I didn't like. Second thing I didn't like was I watched this movie at least like into 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, this time I was paying really close attention and I didn't think anything was happening for me. I don't know if it was, I really don't think it's the person. I think it's the choice of storytelling. There was nothing gripping enough for me. Because usually, if it was supposed to be, I mean, it's still supposed to be a comedy, at some point there should should be able to draw a laugh or two. Even last week when we were complaining about the structure of the or how Sole jumped genre or maybe genre bend, which I don't think they were going for. But anyways, while we said okay, that was some form of absurdist humor, this I don't know what exactly the humor here was. If it was just plain comedy, because the laughter was uh, not coming one, and I think the comedy was forced. So if you compare to how Aki Pawpaw acted in Aki Pawpaw, yeah, when I watched that, I think I was in just to, some again 2 decades ago when, and then I think I would have watched again maybe some years back. I think the difference is either in the acting or in the fluidity of role interpretation. It has to be one of the above. So I would have said maybe they should have just brought on Chidi Chikere again to write. But then I do understand that the way the quality of writing it would have had then is not exactly the same thing now. So I wouldn't. When it comes to the writing, it leaves so much to be desired for me, especially when it comes to the humor. And then I think because this movie was banking on using more comedians, skit makers, not people were necessarily funny. Because every single time I see all of them gather in Mama Inky's, I'm like, oh my God. Okay, apart from Tony has comedic timing. I really was not seeing comedic timing from a lot of people here. I see the intention of scenes with Panchak and Samantha and Beverly's character. I see where they were going for. I see what it's kind of the sort of comedy they were going for, but this is not even Devil Wear Prada. Like, really. I don't know what was happening there with Panchak's character. I see it, but I'm not seeing it because the cues, the comedy, the timing was not landing. They were using sound effect again, which is not bad, which is very standard, industry standard. It was just not doing the job. So that was at least the first 20 minutes for me. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to watch this movie to the end. To God be my glory. To Jesus be my glory. Anything that will happen, I'll just leave it like I did Sole. At least last week, Sole second and third act entered absurdist humor, and then I ran with it. It was easy. Or the laughter came. Nobody had to force anything. The entire situation was ridiculous enough to carry the laughter, but I wasn't seeing the anything here. I mean, Mr. C mentioned that he sees the story angle, the intention. I see it too. But and what about delivery? What about execution? Is it the directing? I don't know. Is the jokes obviously did not land. The I don't know about the actors too. Because I was looking at Aki and Popo, they're older now. It's the animation on their face, the emoting that they did, the animation, the animative way they were conveying the funny things back then. It's not the same thing now because things about our body have changed. And these are older men trying to be funny. So it was just not connecting for me. That's I think and then my sound was actually not bad. I mean, a couple of ADRs in there. It wasn't jarring, it wasn't taking me out. I didn't mind the editing, but I would still say that storytelling choice. I mean maybe the directing, the writing. Honestly, maybe I don't know, maybe somebody else could have gotten the fluidity in the storytelling out. I don't know. But overall, the choices that were made here did not. It's again, this is not a bad film. If I was watching it as a drama, really well tracked, I would just be a little bit disappointed with all the um rigmarole on my screen that is not getting anything out. I mean, they are just unlucky. They want to make money. They didn't get money. Then they were used and blah blah blah. And then I just think that nothing was working for this movie. And not to, okay, another thing was I think the product placement. Oh my God. Can we stop that? Can you, in fact, if the best product placement should have just been, I would not have, see, if they had broken the fourth wall and then Aki would just say, please drink Goldie. I wouldn't have minded. Everybody should just do that one and continue the movie. But this just seemed like a giant skit. So it's like an extended, like people bringing skits from Instagram and extended on and then putting on TV. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Spurs. I would say on the product placement, some of them went because I guess like they integrated some of them okay to be because I guess hey they've blown or whatever and they have to do endorsement and all of them. So like and I know films have to do this because you have to pay bills and all of that. But if it was jarring for you, it was jarring for you. Um, One thing I have to echo though is the I can't Papa, you mentioned like the age. It's not cute anymore, is it? Like they just they don't back then, no, we knew. Well, I didn't actually know when I started watching it, but it was later. I'm sure most people, well, if you're relatively young, you didn't know, you weren't sure that they weren't kids when they started acting, and then probably some adults told you, oh, by the way, they're not children, no. But they looked like kids back then, right? And so they can get away with doing small children stuff. It's weird seeing, you know, yeah, they look like I was. There was this shot with Amechi Monago and Aki, and I'm like, you guys just you guys don't look that far from each other age wise. I'm like, it's weird to be doing the Aki and Papa or let me fight. It's just uh, anyway. But yes, I certainly felt you on that point. Cynthia, do you want to?
Oh yeah, so to continue on the Aki and Pawpaw, yeah, so my first dislike is miscasting. Like like people have said, when we watched them before, they look like children and we enjoyed them. But this time, I mean, we could see their age. In fact, when they were running with their pot belly, I was like, no, why are you people stressing these people? Why are you guys stressing these adults? They should be relaxing with their money. Doing the hide and seek, doing the fighting, doing everything was just tiring. Okay? I mean, we need new talent. I think if they had probably used people that looked like children, maybe I would have bought some part of it, but I don't know. It was very tiring. And even though the 1 hour, I could bear it for 1 hour, the other part, I was just tired. I could not just stand it again. Then they also had Worry Pekin. I don't know if she was trying to act like a child or she was trying to act like an adult or I don't even know what was going on with her. I really don't know what was going on with her in that Mama Inquiry shop. We also had Blessing, is it Obasi? When she opened her mouth to talk the first time, I felt someone slapped me. I didn't know where that voice came from because she was trying to act like a toddler, and I don't know. I really don't know. Like all their casting was just I don't know. Then we have Uti Panchak. When he first appeared in this movie, I actually thought I actually thought they wrote this character having Dewele Edun in mind. I'm sorry, that was the first thing I thought. But Dewele is fun. Dewele is fashionable. So when Uti was doing what he was doing, I did not understand what was going on. Even Beverly also Demide. I don't know. Like everything was just off. I don't know if it was the character choice or the acting because when Bravely came to the supermarket to come and tell Shamaka for Samantha about the Mapuvi investment, whatever, I was just blinking my eyes. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? So like Stanuze and Samantha, like I said, I like them when they first when I saw them gisting at Mama Inkiru's shop. But is it Dodo or what was his name in the movie? Is all character and acting, everything just fell flat at the ending. I was just like, what is this? What is this? Even the ending of the whole plan A, plan B, plan. No, 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 no. Like I want to watch a very good Stanley movie. I don't know. I don't know. Even Shamal Kafour, like you can't tell if she is going to be good in other movie, but definitely she might be good. Even when they were writing the Samantha's character, I got confused if they wanted to portray her as a good person, they wanted to portray her as a bad person, what they want from this character. I just felt like probably someone wrote the script, another person edited, they chopped some things, and at the ending they combined everything so that it would look like the first script that was submitted. Because I don't know what's going on with that character. Really, today she's good, tomorrow she's bad. I don't know. I don't know. Then I think another thing that took me out in this movie is how they stress on petty arguments. So I totally lost interest during the Christmas after the Christmas Carol nights when they met Samantha. Okay. Yeah, so when Samantha was doing the arguments with Stan's character and is it her mother, and she was doing the whole impersonation misinterpretation arguments, I won't lie, I laughed a bit. But everything went down for me when they gathered the whole king's men to start discussing this matter. I was like, really? For what? Like, what is so big about this matter? What is happening? Why are people amplifying every petty thing to move the plot? What is going on? So I don't know. Then with the brand sponsorship, I know that yes, they became rich and it's good for them to have endorsement. The thing is, as a viewer watching this movie, I'm not convinced to buy any of the products I saw in this movie. Okay, so it's different from when I watched is it Remarriage and Desire? And that Korean Netflix movie, and the bad bitch was drinking Anakin, and she swam in the pool, and she came back to drink the Anakin, and I was like, I don't even drink alcohol, but I wanted to go and buy Anakin to drink, okay, because of how she portrayed it. Now, this movie is the most brand sponsored movie I have seen in my life. And I used to watch 20 episodes of Korean movie and they don't used to have this many brands. This movie had a lot. Now I don't even know if it was paid brand sponsor or it was a friend thing. My friend is affiliated to this brand, so let me put it. Now I also don't know if I prefer having too much brand sponsored or I prefer having sponsor of music in Glamour Girls. I don't know which one I prefer. So I started watching this movie. A few minutes into this movie, they flashed the old Golden Mon Uti, one chuku something in my face. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. I mean, it did not do anything to me. Still, so these minutes, I'm seeing Uti talk about peak milk. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. None of this is telling me why I should get this product. None of this is convincing me. In fact, this talk about peak milk even got me irritated. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. Then I saw a lot of Biggie refrigerator in Mama Nkuru bar. And none of them were drinking Biggie. Yes, they had to make Biggie cocktail at the ending. But I felt like when they came down from the bus and there was this small child hawking drink, I mean, they would have hawked Biggie, they would have bought Biggie, they would have drunk or say something, but they kept the Biggie in the refrigerator in Mama Nkuru's bar. They came with Fearless later to do Jackie Chan fights for me. Then I don't even know. It got to a point I saw Innocent Vehicle Motors. I don't know if IVM was also part of the sponsor because they came with a car and they were trying to zoom into IVM. Okay, why should I get IVM? I mean, the next time you are driving Jaguar and I'm interested in Jaguar F-Pace. So, what exactly is going on? I saw Dana Air. I'm like, what? See, this is the most sponsored movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm telling you, and it was just 2 hours. And I've watched 20 hours movie and I've not seen this much sponsor. It got to a point that it was like it's the whole House of Guinness products that they wanted to show. At first, I knew Guinness was part of this movie when I think Uti and Samantha was doing that argument of Tunde Ednot something something, and you could see Guinness and Peak Milk. Was it Guinness and Peak Milk or something like that in that board? Oh yeah, another thing was they were flashing this ad in some billboard. Whoa, stop stressing me. But to this House of Guinness, I saw Guinness. I saw Gordons. I saw Ciroc. I saw Mr. Donwell. It was like they wanted to showcase all the whole House of Guinness products. I saw Johnny Walker Red Label, Gold Label, Blue Label, Orange Label, all the labels. Like, and none of these was convincing me to get the product. So, yes, I understand that they became wealthy and they need to have ads, but at the same time, when you get ads from brand, you want to showcase it in the movie to attract customers. Or I mean, if I'm someone that used to take another whiskey brand, why should I take go and change to Mr. Dowell that I'm seeing in this movie? Why should I change? So I don't know. I really don't know. And another thing with the brand was there were even some new brand. Like up to today, there was this can of beer that was golden that I saw in the movie. And I was like, what beer is this? They couldn't even zoom in for me to see the name. And I went to, and I, because I was looking for who Samantha was, so I saw she was Shoma Okafor. And I went to her IG, and I still saw this picture of Aki and Pawpaw. And up to today, I still don't know the name of that beer. And this beer appeared in the movie, and I'm sure it's probably a brand ad too. So yeah, I understand the need of getting brand, but none of them were convincing. And seeing up to like 15 brands, Abana, it's too much. It's too much. Then finally, the way they concluded the whole movie, when they started the whole conflict, you are jealous of me, you are greedy. I was like, when did we watch all these parts? When did we see this whole jealousy and greediness? What is going on? At first, they came from a Samantha angle. Another thing, they came from a greedy angle. Another thing, they came for this. They shall resolve the conflict. Everything was just turning on its own. It was turning on its own. So I don't know. I I I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why everything went like that. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think Cynthia didn't like the product placement from that. I think that's fair to say. But yes, let's point that part where they were doing what is usually the beginning of the third act, where the, the beginning of like the downer and like everybody sort of going their separate ways. If it's like an ensemble cast, they split up. In this one, the brothers. Yeah, it seemed like they started fighting, but like they didn't build. They didn't. They didn't.
Build that conflict.
They didn't set up the conflict. They didn't set up all the you always this and you always that and all the things that they exchange. Yes, and you're right. That completely came out of nowhere. And when they were saying it together, it was a little funny, to be honest. That with the music, that's one of the funniest parts of the movie for me. John, you haven't said stuff you liked, so if you want to say things you like, when the bad, but if you want to say things you like as well, feel free. But go and tell us.
All right, sure. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you're very
Great.
audible.
So I would first want to say that I commend anyone who puts pen to paper and any filmmaker, because making a movie is hard enough. Most especially making a comedy. I think it's one of the most difficult genres to make next to horror, because it's all about the timing. If you miss the timing of comedy, if you miss the timing of horror, you miss your audience. So yeah, props to whoever put pen to paper for this. But I think my critic would be mostly in writing. I'm a screenwriter, and you tend to know those mistakes. I think from the first 10 minutes, you know if this movie is going to be one to watch or if this movie is going to want to skip. So we technically have this thing that we use. I'm sure other writers here might know about it. Is the 11-minute rule. The 11-minute rule sort of says if I'm watching your film for 11 minutes, I don't know where it's going, it's not a good movie. And I've said this over and over again, that if we have the Hollywood system in Nigeria, about 90% of our films will never have been made. It would never have been greenlit. It wouldn't have even passed through development process, because the screenplay is not up to par. So the first thing I would want to say about like screenplay and stories is every film, every script has a theme. And by theme, I don't mean, oh, it's funny. I don't mean like, for example, Brotherhood. And I'm not talking about like Brotherhood the movie. I'm talking about like two brothers having like a relationship. That's not the theme of the movie. That could sort of be one of the points of your plot, but it's not your theme. A theme is a central dramatic argument. So, for example, you could have a theme could be better to be dead than alive. So now my protagonist starts off believing that it's better to be dead than alive. And at the end of the film, my protagonist has come to the conclusion that I have about that argument, which is no, it's better to either be a slave and be alive, or, whatever the end of my argument is, that tracks the arc of the film. And it also tracks the inner journey of the inner conflict of my character, because a film also, your character has an external goal, yes, but there also has to be that internal goal. Just like you said about the third act, where the brothers, you sort of started seeing this beef or feud stir up between them, that should have been an internal conflict that should have been set up in the first act and probably, dwelt upon in the second act a little bit, but you're giving us something new before getting to the end of this in the third act. But we never saw that because, again, there's no structure, right? And a screenplay without a theme or a central argument just feels pointless and bland. It doesn't mean that your film cannot work without a theme. Your film can work without a theme, but then it's just going to be really shallow, right? So when you have on the nose dialogue, and when you have some of the characters saying some things that just make your skin crawl, that just goes to show that there was no forethought in the scripting process. And also, I think what most people don't realize about film or screenplay is everything is cause and effect. This happens because this happened. This happens because this happened. And it all tracks down back to your first act. So if you have a problem in your first act, you set yourself up for failure. And I don't see why a movie should be, and Nollywood does this a lot, why a movie should extend beyond, the 2 hour minutes. You can have a good 1 hour, 30-minute movie, right? But it's just about setting the pace. Like I said at the beginning of my speech, is the 11-minute rule, because we live in a world where content is a dime a dozen. So if I'm going to watch your movie and in 12 minutes I don't know what's going on, I'm going to leave to see another movie. And when we get to the film, because you also said something that the film doesn't pick up, Mr. C, you said something, the film doesn't pick up until after 20 minutes, right? Just tells us that, okay, we're now on page 20 in the script, and then we can sort of see where this film is going. Who has time to wait to page 20, right? To know where your film is going. Give it to us on page 10, on page 5, give it to us on page 10. Let's know where it's going. And this was also the same issue I had with one, like a recent movie. It wasn't until like an hour that we started seeing like, okay, where this film is going. So that's like 60 pages down the script. And that's why I say, like, if this was a Hollywood system, most films won't be greenlit, most films won't be made, because no executive is going to sit when they have a pile of scripts to read to wait to like page 50 to see where your comedy comes in. And, we're speaking about like the brand and, the advertisements. I understand brand integration, right? Because most times when most brands approach you, they don't just want the placement. They want integration. They want a cast or a character to say, hey, this is this product, da, da, da. But there's a way to do it, right? So for example, if Aki or if Aki and Pawpaw had an argument, right? And the lady at the shop, I can't remember her name. Let's just say someone wanted to mend the gap or mend the bridge between these two characters. One person could have said to the character who was going to be the mediator, oh, take this drink because, it'll soften his heart when he gets this drink. That could have been a form of brand integration. It's not something you necessarily have to throw in our face. That's why you have to have the planning and the whole development process in the script, because you have to make it seamless where it's almost not noticeable. And I think that's where it's more effective. If I'm seeing someone drinking something and they're not all up in my face, sometimes I do want to drink that as well, because it could be hot when I'm watching that and I'm seeing like a cold Pepsi on the screen. I then want to drink cold Pepsi. So it's also about that. And I think one of the last things I want to touch on is the post-production process. Sadly, a lot of people have misconceptions about, the whole post situation where it's like, we cut this out, we cut this out, we cut this out. The truth is, every film does that, right? Every film cuts out in post. But why the film still comes out in a good form is because there's a log line and there's a structure for the film. The log line for the film guides every single thing about the film. It guides your scripting, it guides the trailer, it guides the people in the edit room. So if there is no log line and if there's no structure in your film, when they're cutting in post, that's where you have a lot of stories coming in this, because there's no structure, there's no thing to guide them. So if you can't even tell me in a sentence what your movie is about, definitely in post it's going to be bad. So I just think these are some of the things that Nollywood needs to focus on. Everything is the script. It starts with the script. That's the currency of this industry before anything else. So I think when we look into that, it would be much, much better in terms of film, especially Aki Pawpaw, because like you said, the plot or the premise wasn't necessarily so bad. It just needed to be developed more. I think they needed to spend more time on it, but they rushed it and they were careless with the whole thing, and it just kind of blew up in their faces. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now.
All right, thanks, John. I think the 20-minute thing might have been Elizabeth. I wouldn't say this ever picked up for me at all. But yeah, Inka, do you have stuff you want to get off your chest?
See, the thing is that I am swirling. I am waving between two things. I am into one is that, well, I don't want to analyze this movie because this movie was not made for any sort of analysis in any sort of way. And because we're familiar with this production company, they don't make movies for anything but for profit. And so there's no need to waste my time in it. That's why watching it, I wasn't particularly upset when I was watching this movie. I was upset about the fact that I had to spend 2 hours to watch this movie, but I wasn't particularly upset or anything. And then the second thing that was just like, yeah, like let me still criticize this movie or something. This movie, I think, I'm going to say you gave them a little bit too much credit by saying that you can see what they were trying to do with the whole like criticizing corporation something. That's why I said it was a point and I think it's an accident. I don't think this movie had any sort of, maybe that's too much, maybe that's too mean, because I don't know the people that was doing this movie and I don't know their particular goals and reasons for doing it. But I do know that this is from the company. And I'm not going to really, yes, the scripting was bad. But okay, the scripting was bad. Maybe the scripting was good originally. But the company wanted something else. This company does not spend time, absolute time, to even give anything. Absolutely anything. If you see just basic script, first, the scene where like, okay, Stan Eze calls, right? To know whether this thing is a what's it called? Is a scam or not. We see the female actress, right? I don't know whether they put two skates together. I don't even know what direction was going on. But she acted like she could hear what Stan Eze was talking to her friend about, like, oh, this is a scam. What is the next thing that she should say? But then the next thing that we see is that she's just on her phone going like, oh, what happened? What happened? But you gave me a reaction that you had what this guy was saying. That is a directing issue. Like the director did not see that. If the director got that in one take, did the director not see that? Okay, that is also a script issue. What did the script say? Is the script saying that she's overhearing what she's saying, and then she has a reaction, and then she asks, and then she goes back on her phone and asks? No, the script probably doesn't say that. That one is probably more directing the script, because scripts sometimes don't even give that type of detailed direction. That's a directing issue. Did the director not stop that? Did the director not see that? This is not the first time I've seen this type of thing and I keep on going back to Glamour Girls, the scene that I thought was so horrid. Like, there's no excuse for that type of scene. There is no like it's too expensive excuse. No, there is no like, oh no, it's just like the company does not care. And the only reason why I could say is that the company must be going on everybody that is on that saying like, we don't have time to waste. You have to do this really quickly. You have to do this really speedily. You have to do this something. So things that are very basically, that if people had passion for this work, not even passion, just basic, like, I want to put out good things, because human beings, whenever we do something, even if we don't have passion for it, we at least want to put out something that is okay. And this is Biodun Stevens. I have seen her work. She's not the type of director to leave something so blatantly like ridiculous. Then we get to somewhere saying Charles or play some, and then what is this? What is going on? Like even the comedy, right? The comedy is not even written with any. The scene in the car where this guy is supposed to be some French guy, they're speaking basic English. They're speaking basic English. And this guy is transiting. Who wrote this comedy? This is like lazy, really, really lazy, like Instagram comedy writing. And it's an insult even for Instagram comedy, because this when we see this type of Instagram comedy, we know that this person is just putting out content. It's just for profit. Even the costuming, right? They are supposed to be little boys. I don't know why they decided that these guys should be little boys, but okay. The costuming is after they become rich, you're dressing them like older men. Like the older rich men they are in real life. What is going on? What is going on? I just it is like I don't want to give this level of analysis to a movie that was made only for profit. I'm not saying that movies have never. I'm not a fool. Movies have always been for profit. The beginning of even the camera was a profity thing, right? But there was always a level of like just putting out things that were enough. There were always, even in times of like just profit marginalization, people on the ground will always want to do something good, right? And in this, I cannot see it. I cannot see it in this movie at all. At all, at all, at all, at all, at all. At all. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's actually I shouldn't say that. I'm being very facetious. The worst one is Grammar Girls. In this one, there was some little things that I could see that were like, okay, some people, but it's still in the same vein of this company doing really, really. They did one good movie. It didn't pan out for profit that they wanted, but they got a lot of praise. And instead of him to probably continue and probably find a way to do things with less, maybe like more business savvy, but still have like good stuff, he didn't. He didn't choose that way. It means that you came into this from the very beginning for profit. And that's okay. You can be making movies for profit and everything and all that stuff. Make your big movies, make your something. I just suggest that we should not necessarily be giving this movie any sort of analysis or our time as much as we are. Because it's ridiculous. It's disgusting and it's ridiculous. And I hope that I can and Aki Pawpaw and everybody charge this guy an arm and a leg, because I'm so sorry. Charge this guy an arm and a leg. Like make your money, write your checks. Okay. Lovely. They've given us good stuff in their youth. They are older now. they this man decided to come to them. Maybe he offered them the greatest amount of money. They're older now. They want to go for money. Let them go. It's cool. It's good. This movie needs no analysis at all. There were some moments of goodness in it. I guess I should be thankful that it's at least better than the profit maximization in this movie. Like, at least I can see some artistic something in it. The same, but it by this time I think I had already like been like, okay, this is just a profit person. Like, this is just a profit something. I don't want to be mean to the people that actually did some good work in it. I appreciate your good work. You made it bearable. I'm so sorry that you have to work for this company. Probably is not even paying people that well. Because if somebody is this profit in something, it's probably not even paying people that well. And for that, I'm even upset. I'm upset about the labor issue. Okay, more than I am about this movie.
Okay.
Well, bye bye.
All right. Thanks, Inka.
All right. I think Inka made herself pretty clear where she stands with hobby and his products. All right, Miss C.
Okay. I guess the first disappointment was I didn't see a Charles cameo. Maybe I missed it.
Was that a disappointment?
I've come to expect this
Right.
thing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I mean, like they sang his name, Sha.
I feel there is that because, but I feel like if Charles doesn't even bother to show us, then your expectations should be low. To be fair,
Yeah, we should have known when my
we should
guy.
have known because he made it to Glamour Girls at least, right? We should have known. Anyway, yeah. So what did I like? Yeah, I didn't think the jokes landed. I don't think this was as funny, and like frankly, I know that they're boring, like they're using the Aki and Pawpaw videos going viral recently to do the heavy lifting for the premise of the film. But who am I to say what would go viral and what wouldn't? But the first video to go viral didn't really seem like the kind of thing that would go viral.
No effort.
It doesn't seem like somebody who actually has knowledge of how social media works.
No effort.
Played a role in that decision. So yeah, and then the rest of the videos she was doing that was getting all of that hype, it just didn't like. I don't want to hop on reality of things because I don't think films have to be realistic. I feel like artistic license is perfectly fine. But it was just I got a little taken out of it when I saw someone open a brand new Instagram account, right? And one post from the brand new Instagram account and the account has blown and she's now having more traction than Pashang, right? Who's an established influencer in this world. When we've said this person has been building Pashang's career for God knows how long, and she did this overnight, then yeah, he has been paying her as much as she's worth because it's clearly very easy work, right? I was like, and we all know social media work is not easy. Like the people who are actually getting all of that shit done, it's a lot of work, right? It's not overnight blowing, make a lot of money. Then the whole thing in the village with like, let's share the money. How much had she made? How long had she been posting Aki and Pawpaw videos? How much do people make off Instagram? Because she was posting this thing off Instagram. It's like, oh, she has been giving us small money. She gave him 50K. How much are people making off Instagram? Does Instagram pay?
They just started paying recently.
So no, she couldn't have made money off Instagram at the time she was. Yeah, it's like she's been giving us small money. I'm like, what? And then we're drawing up contracts and doing 50-40 sharing. Realistically, by the time they posted their 5th video, nobody would have cared anymore. But sure, I'm not gonna hold them to realism. It's not essential. But that bit took me out of it. I'm like, come on, but we'll let it slide because maybe it has to happen. And frankly, the old Aki and Pawpaw films, we don't need things to be realistic. I mean, they wrapped one of them up in as a present one time and took him to a wedding, and that was fun. So yeah, Pashang's character was very irritating. I think I don't know. It's just I don't know what that character was supposed to be. And I think Nollywood has a problem with writing characters that are supposed to be eccentric. yeah, I think they have a problem with writing characters that are supposed to be eccentric. I don't know who said maybe they were trying to model him off daily, but like that was very poorly done. Very, very poorly done. Like, who is that person? Yes, no, that's not a person. Then what else? I don't know. The film felt very flat. It wasn't just the jokes that were flat. The whole story was flat. It felt anticlimactic. It's just, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Now we're rich and look at us shooting videos, and oh, now I'm sleeping in instead of shooting my videos, and oh, you've always been jealous of me. From where to where, how, why? It seemed like it was a long movie, right? It was a really long film, but it seemed like at one point it just kind of sped up. And like you blink and they fought, blink and they're at Pashank's fraudulent partner's office trying to sign a contract, and then he says he's going to pee and he comes out. That's it. And then we're suing Samantha. It was just, yeah, I don't know. The film was very flat, very, very flat. And there was just it was quite a, should I say it was a disservice? It was just like, just let the Aki and Pawpaw thing be. Let's just do the memes. Like, let it go. If you're gonna bring them back and give us a film that was barely funny, and just didn't do much, just let it go. Just let it go. And yes, they are grown now. Like they're grown. Like I can see my dad there, and like none of those antics are funny if my dad's doing it.
All right. So you liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I can't remember who said this. I can't remember who said it, but it was sent. I know. I think it was Ayanka who said it's difficult to know how to talk about this movie because on some level, yeah, like it feels like what we do at Nollywood Film Club is we try to analyze things and talk about things in depth and with our receipts, general. But this film just doesn't care. And it's interesting that because again, the premise wouldn't suggest something that doesn't care. But like again, I'm listening to Mrs. C list off a bunch of things, and she's giving them a pass because like it doesn't have to be realistic the way they blow up. I'm sorry if you want to put people going viral, if it is, you should put some care into that.
I'm not giving them a pass, right? I'm not giving them a pass. I'm just saying I understand that a lot of things don't have to be realistic, but I'm pointing them out because they are, not good choices.
It's not even like it's for me that they didn't get that right is a it's not even like they didn't get it right. They didn't try.
They didn't try.
Like it felt like something I could have made up on set on the day. Like, oh, but hey, they need to go viral. How are we going to make them go viral? Or just you guys just do a dance, and we'll get to this person. Like, what? Oh my god! Like, there's no way in. Do you see the things that like float to the top to get to get to being viral? Nothing of such banal. Oh man!
And how many of them are off one video?
Oh,
This someone who's been doing so many videos and then one takes off.
That's the thing. It's like I don't. So even in the film, right? Like they want to keep on making content of them, but what do you know about them other than they did a dance one time? The whole thing is
interviewing them. What are they asking them? When
it's like all these interviews they're going for. Like even the Biggie interview. What is the shtick supposed to be?
Yeah, what is their shtick? What is their shtick that works live?
What is meant to be happening? I'm just looking at this thing, right? And the gal to have this message of, oh, people using you just to swindle you for your using your face just to swindle you and make money off you. The gal for this to be the product it's like it almost feels it almost feels like they're laughing at Aki and Popo. I know this is not the intention, but if you don't put any effort in it, and the only thing that they have used to sell this movie is Aki and Popo, literally, and they didn't put any effort. They've just sold a bunch of products, done a bunch of like what else am I supposed to think in terms of that's all you've done? All you've done is you didn't have anything particularly. You didn't care about what you wanted to say. Certainly, I don't. Again, like the premise is interesting, but you didn't put any effort into the execution of anything. Like again, I'll challenge people to go watch how they become viral. There is no effort into this, zero effort. Um, so like again, they just used I Can Popo to make money. That's what PlayStation has done.
Yes.
That's just what they've done. And they're making a movie about it. Is it a lack of self-awareness? Is it maniacal? I don't know what it is, but it's
Is it meta?
I don't we're not that clever. We're not that clever. Definitely not that clever. I mean, like if it were meta, it'd be evil, by the way. It meta it'd be evil. And they're not I don't think they're good enough to do that. But like there's just things I'm looking at. Like I remember some of the improv that was being done. That's like, why have you left that in there? Like what's the essence? There was a line where I think Aki says, they're doing all their improvs, and somebody said something about Osama bin Laden being dead, and Aki has a response that I think that like he says something like, "Who killed Osama bin Laden? Now you kill him." I'm like, from a joke perspective, what? Like, do you not know bin Laden is dead? Like, oh, okay, is it supposed to be? Is it what's the joke? What's the joke there? I don't know. Like, I can imagine in a rush of improv, right? Naikulam is a funny thing people say, but we usually use that when you're talking about somebody who is alive. Um, so maybe in a rush of saying he just reached for one of the funny things people say, but he has used. But like, why have you left it in there? The whole journey of this movie is one of I can't imagine that any again somebody had an interesting premise, maybe because like now, like Oinka said, like I'm giving someone too much credit. Maybe I'm even reading too much into it because the execution into this is nothing, zero. Like this script didn't, if there was a script, didn't go through more than one draft. If it did, somebody needs to get fired for that, for whatever passed as a first draft, or somebody needs to stop writing, or maybe they weren't paying you much and you were like, I will sabotage this. If you want to, if this is what you're paying me, this is what you're getting. I don't know, but like this is nothing worthy of. It's not worthy of discussion. It really isn't. And here I am discussing it. I feel like a dickhead. But I was doing this because I want to. Some people voted for it and decided we should talk about it. So here we are talking about it. And I'm feeling like a dickhead over here talking about a movie that almost nobody gave a shit about. It's clear as day for me. Nobody gave a shit about this movie. Biodun Stephen, I don't know whether to even start calling people out individually. Like, so I think Biodun Stephen directed this. And she's never been like, Biodun Stephen is very talented at getting like good stories and like having that have heart in them. She's never been somebody I would say is a cinematic director, but I don't actually mind still having some ties to the roots of things. Like I think a Biodun story would work really. What I would like to see a Biodun Stephen combo with somebody who does something a bit more cinematic. I think that would even an Emma Dossier or something like that. But like Emma writes and directs really well herself, to be honest. But like, so I don't know. Maybe she needs. But like directing. My point is directing hasn't really been her strong suit. So I don't know what script she got. I can't remember who wrote this. I did the naughty data for this sometime, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, this film is pretty bad, and it's just the lack of effort. To be honest, like I didn't get this from Glamour Girls. Glamour Girls seems like a mess, right? It seemed like a lot of people were trying a lot of different things. Like people are following a script in Glamour Girls. I can tell that they're saying words that were written down by somebody. This is not the case, right? Like you have people just making some parts up. There's some bits, but there's clearly some parts that are written down. But a lot of this is improvised. The parts that are written sometimes are just badly written. It's awful, and I'm sorry. Well, I want to say like, I'm sorry, people must have paid to the cinemas to go watch this, but hey, people like Soleil. I don't see anything. I know like they're more charismatic actors and performances in Soleil than this, but in terms of the comedy, the first part it feels like on par with me. Like it just feels like people shouting a lot um, and trying to be funny. But I don't care for this movie at all, and I wish to stop talking about it. And lucky for me, there are other people who want to say stuff. All right, so we'll start with the best African actor. I know you are not here for the good, so if you want to say your good and your bad, go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Okay, so can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, the thing is, let me start from. I was one of the people that voted for this film. I was one of the people that voted for us to, discuss this film earlier, and I was very pained when when they said they wanted to make a what was it called again? I was like, okay, no, now this film already won. I was even jubilating that this film already won. Now let's just do this once and for all. I think I don't know. I was expecting. I think I tweeted that I was expecting this place to be Ota today and all that. Maybe because we didn't do this when the film was still, in the market and very hot and all that. But anyway, it doesn't matter now. Let me start from the things I like about the film. I think the most important thing I like about Aki Pawpaw 2021 is the fact that Aki and Pawpaw were able to make money. At least I can say more money than they used to make when they were doing the original thing. Yeah, so I think that's what I like about the film. And okay, about the other things, when this film was first announced that they're going to do a remake of Aki and Paul, a lot of people on the timeline were like, "Oh no, don't do this! Don't don't destroy the childhood memories we have and all that." I don't know. I was not part of them anyway. I really expected that it was going to, maybe blow my mind away, kind of, and all that. And then seeing Biodun Stephen as a director, from the kind of films that she has done before, I expected that, oh, okay, this is going to be watchable at least. But then when I saw the film, I don't know. I really don't know. Let me start from the story. I think, the film school I attended, I think someone once said that if a story is bad, there's almost nothing you can do even as a director, as an actor, and everyone that works on the film. If a story is bad, there's almost nothing you can do. I think that this film was made for the money, and then other things were not put into consideration because this story is a story that should have stopped at the first draft. Yeah, let me put it that way. This story should have stopped at the first draft because normally, if you are going to make a film that with that kind of budget, then this story should have gone like maybe like 5 or 6 or 7 rounds of drafting and all that. But the storyline was poor. The storyline was very, very poor. Like it was very, very obvious that they were in a hurry to make this film. Like they were so much in a hurry to make this film. I don't even know which genre to put it because if you have to call it comedy, there was no comedy there. Yeah, there was no. Please, can you still hear me, please?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go
Oh,
on.
okay. There was no comedy. There was no comedy there. Seeing MC Lively, seeing MC Lively. Okay, this is the part of the storyline. Seeing MC Lively, I was thinking, okay, maybe we are going to have some part of the comedy here and all that. But then they didn't build that part well. In that, I don't know, seeing the way he was very, very active with the stranger. I don't even know what language man was speaking, because he was speaking normal English at some time, and then he would cross over to whatever language he was trying to speak again and all that, and then it was not really, really working. And then I don't know how dumb these kids are supposed to be, oh. But then seeing him so close, he's supposed to be a driver, he's stranger to the person. Seeing him so close with the person, anytime they want to see him, they were always together. I'm like, they should have kind of felt it that this thing was not pure. But then I don't know. I don't know. That's part of it. Then also, yes, one part that really, really got me confused. I think someone already mentioned it. Was the fight between Aki and Popo. Like, no, that fight should not have existed. Or even if the fight should have existed, it should have been something entirely different. And if they were even going to pick fighting over, you're jealous of me, you are this, I was like, there was no jealousy. In fact, if there was anything, it was love and cooperation that I saw between them throughout the film. So where did the jealousy come in? I don't know. I thought probably I missed it at first, because I saw the film about 2.5 times. Yeah, I think I saw it about 2.5 times. Because I was like, okay, where did the jealousy come in? Like, I don't know. You're jealous of me, you are this and that. And then they pushed the fight too much. Like, they did not allow the fight to come naturally. If you're going to fight with somebody, it's supposed to be built little by little, and then you get angry and something else happen. And then, but this fight was just like, okay, they were pushing it so hard. They really pushed that fight too hard. They didn't build it properly. And then them going back home to go and settle, like that, I won't even talk about that anyway. There were too many brands. There were too many brands, and I believe that was what. Okay. I think a lady was talking that time, and she was like, okay, even with the amount of brands they had, they almost could not convince anyone to get any of the stuff. And I think it is true, because I don't know, maybe because there were too many brands. I mean, we've seen subtle ads in films whereby you be like, oh, I really like that. I think I want to get the product. But this one, there were so many brands. Maybe that was what got the writers or the directors confused about how to place them, and how to make the I don't know. The brands were too much. I could count like maybe 10 or more brands there. And when you have too many brands like that, there's almost no way you are going to have issues with placing them. And then the snake thing. Yeah, the snake thing. Okay, when I watched that part, I was like, okay, you are in this place with what's her name? I've forgotten her name. I think it was MC Worry picking or something. It is just two of you there, and then you said you saw a snake. You are the last person that came out of the place shouting snake, snake, snake. You have kind of implicated yourself, because if they are looking for money, since you are the last person that came out of that place, then definitely you have implicated yourself. So I don't think anyone would want to play that kind of prank. I don't know. I just felt like everything what they were fighting for, and then the lady too. I've forgotten her name now. The lady too. They didn't portray her well. They didn't paint her well, in that, okay, she was looking like someone that was being oppressed, and then she sees an opportunity to make something out of the whole thing for herself, and then she gets these two kids, because even the way she got themselves was funny. I don't think anyone would want to watch in 2022. I don't think anyone wants to watch content of two kids singing for, or trying to apologize to the, I don't know. Even the content were not. I don't know, because how they were able to make the content that the kids were doing, and they were posting on social media, and then they were having so many likes, so many follow. Come on, you can't have that many with the amount of content creators that we have in 2022. I don't think you can make it so much within a short period of time, doing the kind of things that they were doing. I mean, you can even steal content. There are so many content on the internet that are getting so many views. You can just use something like that. But then seeing two kids singing and beating whatever they plates with spoons and all that. No, no, no. It was not well cooked. It was not well cooked. So I'm just going to say that I'm going to fault the story. I'm going to default the story from the beginning to the end, and it was maybe they should have chosen a different story for this Aki. I mean, there are many things you can build around Aki and Popo, even at their age, that people will want to watch. But then this, maybe if someone else had built the story well, maybe this could have flown. But then I don't know. Everything just seemed off to the extent that I don't know. Even the groups, and there are not so many people wanting to come. Let me just stop there. Thank you.
I can't hear
Oh,
anything.
I was busy talking on mute. Sorry. I had said so many great things as well about you, best African actor, and everything you said. But we'll just move on. Shiji, please tell us the things that you felt during this.
All right, guys. Hey, guys. Um, yeah. Call me a pessimist, but I do strongly believe in that saying that you can't go home again. Okay. I'm not even mad at this reboot because, quite honestly, over the last few years, I've been incredibly disappointed by a series of like reboots. I mean, not that I want to talk about them now, but for instance, Gilmore Girls, when that came back and I watched it. Honestly, if I had a gun, I would have shot Amy Sherman Palladino, but that's besides the point. Um, First of all, these two, I've always loved Aki and Pawpaw, like Osita and Chinedu have been fantastic. Like they've been, I think I fell in love with comedy watching their movies as a kid because I was like, oh my god, that like how are these two people like so in sync and so like comedically brilliant. Like there's so many gags, like the police gag, like when they were all like when he slaps him and all that stuff like that comes to mind. And I had such high expectations, even though I knew it was a reboot. I still had high expectations before I went in to watch it, and I was just so incredibly disappointed. First of all, I keep saying, I think I said this last time I reviewed Solid. I it's very, I think it's imperative that Nigerian writing, like for like, Nollywood writers' rooms need to be more extensive. It's a comedy. It's a comedy movie. It's not a bad idea to get comedians, like good ones, and sort of like give them the script to punch up. If, for instance, they're not really sure about how funny it is. Things like that would actually help. But at the end of the day, I don't think it was necessarily just the funnies, because actually I think it was more or less about, like, for instance, the third act is always a problem in every Nigerian movie. You have the whole thing like being set up from the beginning that, okay, it's more or less the story about the manager, like the manager, like being all strung out. She's working for this panchak guy. By the way, Ubi's portrayal of the Ubi's character was just like, I think literally one flowing dress away from being Liberace. That's like he was kind of overplaying it a little, but it was okay. And of course, you have Beverly Naya there that was in her own. I think she was in her own entire movie. I don't know if she was in like Devil Wears Prada 2 or something. But basically, you've got that whole thing. She's strung out. She's looking for something to sort of help boost, like her life, make her life make some sense, or whatever. And then she discovers these two guys, and then she basically like basically starts, well, I guess, stealing from them and all, till later they get back, like they sort of resolve it in their village meeting, whatever. I didn't understand why. Okay, they were setting it up that she was still cheating them and they didn't know, but how then did we now get to Panchak, Pan, whatever his name is, and like the scam thing that took so much of the rest of the movie, when the original thing with the manager was sort of shelved till the very end, when he's like, "Oh yeah, I knew you were cheating me. I'm going to see you in court." I'm like, "What the what the hell is that? Like, how do you just slot that in at the end? Like, oh, by the way, the original thing that we're writing, yeah, here's just like a quick payoff for that." That was really lazy writing. That was incredibly lazy. And for Sita and Chinedu, like I think it's time to retire those characters like peacefully. I think it's time to do that now because watching it felt more like watching two old men cosplaying Aki Pawpaw. Like it felt like a cosplay event. Like it didn't feel the original soul is gone because these are two elderly men with elderly mannerisms. They're not young and sprightly anymore. So I think it might be time to retire those characters. I mean, it doesn't work anymore. Tony Abraham was all right, but she was just doing the whole yelling and overly whatever. Like I don't even know what to call that archetype of character, but it's I think she plays that a lot, like the overly excited dolts, but also very that kind of thing. I a lot of the comedic elements I thought were just like just slowly grinding to a halt. Like I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. And I guess nothing can be done. I guess the my entire childhood is ruined now. It's ruined. Like when I think about those old movies, I just will just picture, you know, Aki and Papa now basically like I don't know, drinking alcohol and wanting to be influencers. It's just dead now. So yeah, I shouldn't have watched it. Yeah, I shouldn't have watched it. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. All right. I don't know if we need to do summaries for this. We should probably just.
Mr. C just ignored me shaking my head vigorously, by
Yeah,
the way.
I ignored Mrs. C. She wants you to know that I ignored her because she was saying we should skip summaries. But just yeah. All right, we can make them quick. All right, Shuji, what's a quick summary for this?
Childhood ruined.
All right, thanks. Best African actor. Best African actor either. All right, Anika.
I don't know. Whatever. It's whatever. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. It's a profit driven movie, and this guy probably doesn't even pay people very well. I'm so sorry. I'm so
What
sorry.
do you reckon the cut is like 30, 70?
I really feel like the way that it is, like I'm thinking more about how the thing comes together, right? The way, even his response and the way that everything has been done, and like it has to be somebody going like ga 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 ga, and he's the one in charge of the money bank, which means he's in charge of the movie. And if it's so much about profit like this, if you're cutting costs down so much to this, you give very bad product. It's just this. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. You give very bad product, and we see it. And obviously, and if somebody is that such of a capitalist, even though you're not a big capitalist yet, it means you don't pay people well. You don't pay people well for your work. Ugh. Ugh. That's the only thing. Watch it to you are human beings. We have freedom. You have the freedom to watch it. You have the freedom not to watch it. I suggest don't watch it, but whatever. There's always all bad movies anyway, so it's just one more bad movie.
All right. Cynthia, summary.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think nothing worked from story to directing to writing to casting, over the brand placement. So yeah, I don't think I would recommend it.
All right. Elizabeth?
This was one of those movies that should have stayed in the drafts, in the hard drive. I don't know. Could have claimed that it was destroyed by fire or something. Or somebody leaked it. I can't believe that somebody deliberately put that out in the cinema as well. Don't watch it, man. Don't do it. Don't make the mistake that I did. You still have a chance. Don't
Say
do it.
yourself.
Bye.
All right. This is C.
Um, Yeah, this was flat and a waste of time, and I wouldn't do it again. It wasn't the worst, frankly, because I thought Sunday was worse, but it was just flat. It was flat, and then yeah, I don't know who said it. It fumbled nostalgia hard, and there were a lot of lazy choices, or not thought out choices. So yeah, I don't know. I think you can put it on in the background, but whatever, mate.
Yeah, I strongly disagree. I think this is just because of there's just so much cynicism for me in terms of I'm with Yinka that like a lot of films are supposed to try and make money, but like this is trying to do the bare minimum to make the most money, and it's literally it feels exactly what the film is preaching against. It's very sleazy. I haven't felt that again. Like I didn't feel this about Glamour Girls. I didn't feel Glamour Girls was a car accident but like this one doesn't even try. It is not attempting anything. So yeah, it's a blech from me. All right. Okay, so this is Nollywood Film Club. We'll pick something.
Can I make a suggestion?
What's the suggestion?
Can we never watch a movie from this? Okay, let me correct myself. Let me not say never. Let me not say. I'm see the fact that I'm controlling myself and I'm even encouraging of myself. This movie house does not have that. But okay, let me not say never. This guy has proven. This production house has proven that every single movie they're probably going to make right now, until they prove otherwise, is a cash grab. Should we be watching this movie house's movies on this club? It's just a suggestion that we should probably not watch this movie house movies anymore. This production houses movies until they prove themselves.
I can't. There's an algorithm I have to appeal to. I don't know how it works. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm yeah.
I understand.
Right. Yeah. All right. Next week, I think we're doing. What's the name of the series? Becoming is a TV.
Becoming Abby.
Becoming Abby. So that's a TV series we're doing. Except if it's like 30 episodes, then I might change what we're doing. But that's what I'm leaning in for. I actually might get confirmation from the showrunner. But thanks a lot, everybody who came in, who had a listen, who spoke. Thank you guys. I know this one wasn't an easy one. Best African actor. Are you here now? Do you want to give your summary of Aki Pawpaw?
Yeah, thank you. I have a suggestion though. What if they do a sequel? I don't know.
Okay, all right. I should have ended this. All right, we'll speak next week. You're not you doing trauma to me right now at this point. All right, we'll speak next week. Let's all go and heal and pray. Abby is better. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at IrokoCritic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.